Today we're going to do the second part of our conversation with Mainak. And today we're going to talk about his practice strategies, how he improved his accent and speaking fluency. And then we're going to talk about how he thinks is a great way to deal with challenges that you will face on your English learning journey. So I'm going to head it over to you, Mainak. What are your concrete practice strategies and tips that you would like to post to our viewers on how to practice your English speaking fluency and how to improve your accent?
Okay, so the first thing which I want to mention here is that you have to be confident for yourself. First, you have to have the right confidence for um, being able to talk in English. You have to say this to yourself that, yes, I can speak English very well. So you're going to have the right confidence. Then you have to make sure that you speak English all the time, 24 into 7.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah. And you have to feel English being your native language from the core of your heart. You have to feel like it's like your own language that you're trying to master. You're trying to master. And you're going to have to make sure that you don't overgenerate the thought process again and again by repeating the same ideas. So you have to keep on with the pace of speaking, and you have to maintain the pace in such a way that you don't lose your fluency. You have to carry on with the pace. You have to just speak out whatever is coming in your mind. You have to just speak it out. And you have to make sure that for the practice strategies, I'd say that you have to all the time, you have to just think in English. You have to think in English every time. Whatever is coming in your mind, just think it in English instead of translating the other way in your head. So that is my point. And so if I talk about my accent strategies, like how to practice it, then I'd say that you have to continuously keep listening to native English speakers. Keep listening to native English speakers all the time. Like maybe if you're listening to, let's say, a podcast on a YouTube channel, then let's say, for example, the Joe Rogan podcast or maybe Jay Shetty podcast, whatever American podcast you're listening to, you have to listen very minutely. First, if you want to be a good speaker, you have to be a good listener. You have to be an active and minute listener while you want to speak the language like a native speaker. So it's imperative that you pay attention to the sounds of the like the patterns of the sounds. Like you listen to how the elisions and contractions are happening, reductions are happening, eliminations are happening for the syllables, for the letters, the vowels, the consonants, and also you have to make sure that your placement is correctly on the spot. So these are the factors which are quite necessary for being able to sound like the required what you want to sound like in the American accent.
okay.
So that
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So that's my vision, like what I think, and yeah. So I can just pinpoint to that exactly.
yeah, that's a great point. This active listening. But then my next question is, because a lot of people they do active listening, but how can you actually transfer that to your speech? You got to do some exercises for yourself, so like some drills and stuff like that. Could you pick up on that? Because listening is the first step. It's
Yeah,
important, I agree, because listening and
absolutely.
speaking goes hand in hand. If you can't hear the sounds, you will never be able to produce them. But then how do you get to the next step to produce it?
Next step, yes. So I'm gonna pinpoint to some like I can say like I practiced some drills which helped me to gain the placement for the correct spot. So in the previous podcast, I was trying to talk about the same,
Yeah.
but I unfortunately I didn't get to mention very precisely
Yeah,
because
exactly.
though I was speaking trying to incorporate the British accent. But now here I'm trying to use the American accent
Yeah.
totally. So yeah. So the first thing, what I want to mention here is um, I did some mouth and jaw exercises, like like I tried to flex my mouth muscles,
Mm.
and I tried to move my lower jaw in a position like moving it up and then moving it down. Then also I did some tongue twisters like Betty Butter, Beta Better Butter, like that, and also some with the R sounds. So I believe that the R is the anchor for the American
Mm.
accent. If you have like the total grasp, or if you have the like the command or the grasp on how to create the American R strongly, then I believe that you're like 90% of the job will be done.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
working on the R sound is like it's an arm to arm yourself with the American accent. So I did work with lots of R drills, and also I practiced some essential tongue twisters which I found from the internet source, and those helped me tremendously. So, in a way, like I can say there's a phrase with the R sound, like here it goes, like around the rugged rocks. This is just a phrase. I'm just saying it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. That's great.
this is just a phrase. So I'm just saying like there's a phrase like it's a sentence around the rugged rocks. The ragged rascal ran. Suppose this is the given sentence with the R sound, stressing on the R. So I practiced it rigorously over and over
Every
in
day?
order every day. I do, yeah. So that was a strategy which I incorporated within myself, and also I started to like make some body like some physical movements of the head in a way which could helped me to release the muscle tensions, and it did help me a lot
Could you
to
show one to us, like one exercise, how you did that, the releasing the tension, just for our viewers so they can get an impression of it?
yes. So
Yeah.
the first thing is to let your like the lower jaw, you have to just do the exercise by moving it like this.
Up and down?
Yes, like that, like that, up and down, and also moving your like head side by side like a head bobble.
And this is for releasing the tension, or exactly? Or what is it? For placement? For both, actually, huh?
For both, exactly, for both.
And
I
are you
did
doing
it.
it every day? Sorry, every day, or?
I do it every day, even until right now at this point, because I believe that though I'm like talking like an American, but still I feel that um, it's a process which
Yeah.
needs to be done continually for continuously. So it helps me a lot whenever I feel that while talking in English, the right American placement is not coming, or maybe that there is something missing out here in my speech patterns. So before I do the practice, so I
Ah,
do
okay.
these drills. So these are going to help me a lot.
Okay, yeah, I was asking that if you're doing it beforehand, because after it doesn't make sense. Because if you do it beforehand, you're sure that you're going to practice with the right placement. Oh.
Exactly, exactly. That is the point. Yeah. And so that's I can pinpoint. And every day I'm working on the vowel sounds and the consonant sounds to get it in the right place to as whenever the like the whatever I'm just trying to speak the sentence or the target word, what I'm trying to produce or pronounce, it's gonna be very helpful actually.
And your current practice, I want to tackle that because I know you also said that you work with the book, the Mastering the American Accent. So the question is, are you still doing that when you work on the vowels? And how are you doing that? Are you listening to the tracks and repeating? Or
Yes.
do you have any other specific practice strategies? Maybe you can dive deeper a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely do practice from the book Mastering the American
Yeah.
Accent. And I go through the exercises. I go to the track recordings. I listen back, and I do the shadowing practice.
Yeah, great.
The shadowing practice it helps me, I can say 95%. I can say just it helps me enough to copy the accent of the speaker. So I listen to a speaker say a sentence and I'll listen back. After listening, I try repeat it the same way, exactly how the speaker used to say with the intonation, like a parrot,
Yeah.
like hopping like a parrot. So I used to do that.
Okay. The next question would be, are you making like a specific plan? For example, if you're working on the vowels, do you make a plan like for 1 week, I will practice this vowel and then I will go to the next? So in other words, how do you know that that you tackle this vowel and that you can move on to the next vowel? Because a lot of times people, they focus on everything at the beginning because they say, I got to focus on pronunciation, on linking, on everything, and they get overwhelmed and then they drop the practice. So I want to know if you do like this micro focus, if you just focus on specific sounds or linking patterns or what have you, and then move to the next. So the strategy behind it.
So I follow the strategies each time one by one.
Okay.
So it's like first I delve into like mastering just a couple of vowels, maybe 4 to 5 vowels. Then I use those vowels in a sentence consisting of those vowels in the words. And then I work on elision and assimilation, like reductions, contractions I use, also used for the linking of the words. Like, as you know, that 2 or 3 words are actually interlinked together in fast spoken American speech. So I do it exactly. So that's really helps me keep going with the process every day.
And yeah, that's great. And what would you say, how long do you focus on a specific valve, like a rough guideline? And when do you know that you mastered this vowel? So what is your judgment? So how can you actually see or reflect that you can move to the next vowel or next yeah, aspect, if you know what I mean?
Yes. So, I listen for the specific word in the let's say in the YouTube or in the Google. I look up for the pronunciation of the word, the American pronunciation of the word, and so after I listen to the pronunciation of the word, I try to exactly copy in the same way
Mm.
how it's being spoken or it's being pronounced. So I let's say I pronounce a word maybe for let's say maybe 50 times a
50.
word. And so I made sure that the vowel is in the correct placement, it's in the correct positioning. So that helps me used to keep going with the process every time.
And that's, yeah. And are you going to record yourself in order to see if you actually mastered it, or are you just trusting like your ears?
I do sometimes record my voice in saying in a sentence, or maybe like do the self listening or self introspection. I do. So it gets to the point where it naturally comes out of your mouth. Like once you have a long time duration of listening to the patterns of the sound, so it automatically gonna get ingrained in your brain. So your brain is gonna automatically usher you to speak out that particular sound or with the phrase that consists of the sound. So I believe that.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of people are impatient, so they're not patient enough to repeat it and repeat it again. So they want to get it
Yeah.
right out of the gate. And I wanted to ask you, like in your case, what would you say in general? How long does it take you to actually be able to incorporate the sound or the pattern or whatever you practice into everyday speech so that you tackle that one and can move to the next one?
Okay. So it generally takes just some couple of hours for me
Oh, that
to,
fast. Wow.
yeah, couple of hours. Like as most as I can, like for my own self, I can just like pinpoint that um my most of the sounds which I'm like saying here in the sentences, like as in through this conversation, what you can listen that most of the sounds are quite in place, like as you can maybe judge from your perspective, like in each of the words and in each of the sentences you can find that most of the sounds are already there, or it's not something mistakenly causing the error. So I think that, yeah, so it's in this right spot.
Okay, yeah, from this perspective, I totally get it. But I mean, maybe I phrased it like not awkwardly. I mean, like, because a lot of people they're gonna listen to this conversation and they're at the very beginning of their journey. So I want to ask you, like, if you look back, I think you started working on your accent like 4 years or 4 years ago or even more. So
Yeah.
from the very like at the beginning, it took you much longer, huh? Because you hadn't had this base like you have now. And I wanted to ask you back then, how long did it take you to
Mhm.
incorporate? Because it's like now it's a totally different place than 4 years ago.
Yes. So it was an arduous process. So it was like 4 years ago. It was like I can say, though I was trying to impersonate the American accent, like maybe 100%, but it used to be not like 100%. So it's a like a 4 year process for me to uh, get over the difficulties of the releasing the muscle tensions, because earlier I used to over exaggerate a lot
Hmm.
using the sounds. So I mean, while speaking out with the sentence in the and the words. So it used to be like it took 4 years of continuous like transition of every time it gets transition of how it evolved as the sound, like how it used to be earlier and how it is now as of specifically.
Yeah, and way back, it took you much longer to tackle one sound than now, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's great. Yeah, because you also touched upon that. I would like to talk with you about challenges because challenges are inevitable if you want to master a new accent, especially if it's not your native language. It's very hard. So I wanted to ask you, which challenges did you face? The first part, and then how can like a person who is going to watch this video and also want to improve their accent, how can they turn out to be successful? So please go ahead and share your thoughts on it.
Okay. So the challenges which I faced initially was with the intonation and with the vowels sounding like the sounds of the vowels and the consonants exactly sounding as like the same according to its pronunciations. And so I had to face the challenge for let's say um, let's say for the word American. So when I used to say the word American, I used to over exaggerate a lot with the articulators. And that resulted in a very like over exaggerated, strange sounding of the pronunciation of this word. Like I used to say something like American, American. It used to be something like that. So when I worked more and more on the pronunciation, like words like America or American, and like words like United States, or maybe word like let's say module, or let's say procedure, etc. All these words were quite. There are also many other words which deemed to be extremely challenging for me to tackle in the beginning. So I thought to myself that I have to over exaggerate more and more. So I used to over exaggerate more and more with the pronunciation, with the articulators, moving with the articulators. And that resulted in getting the hang of it, like acing it ultimately. So that I can really pinpoint to your like the question which you asked actually.
Oh, okay, so great. So exaggeration, people shouldn't be afraid of it. They should do it in the beginning, even if it sounds silly, because
Yeah,
ultimately you will tone it down if you get better and better at the accent.
exactly. That's my point. That's my point. Exactly.
Great.
So first,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So first, it may sound exaggerated or strange at first, but you need not to worry about it. With the time, if you go on with the practice more and more, so it's gonna sound like you'll be able to ace it. So
Okay, yeah,
that's
that makes totally sense. Yeah.
yeah.
And then I would like to talk about the point because a lot of people, I talked with a lot of people about this. A lot of people, they miss motivation. So they try to learn a new accent. And then after a few days, they see, oh, it doesn't work out because a lot of people, they want to sound like natively or American overnight. Of course, we all know it's not possible. So what about what was your challenge with motivation and how to tackle it? Because I'm sure at the beginning, we all feel we sound like not like BS, but we don't sound like we would like to sound. Yeah, and I want to ask you, how did you overcome these motivation challenges that you didn't get there as fast as you would like to at the beginning?
Unfortunately, not, I'd say unfortunately, I'd say that fortunately, um, I never felt anything called demotivated because it was my um, burning starvation. It was my so much I was utterly inclined to American accent that I never felt that I should be demotivated, or I should be like like though it's not working out like exactly 100%, but I would never give up on my practice strategies. So the first thing is to have the iron determination that no, I don't want to give up. I'll stay with the process. I'll stay continual with the process. And patience is the biggest thing. Patience is the biggest factor. So I had that immense patience, and it was an arduous struggle for me to go ahead with the process for the past 4.5 years. And it was just overwhelmingly uh, the result which I uh, have got to achieve actually at this point.
Yeah.
So that's, I can say that you have to have the right patience. You don't have to lose the patience. You have to be patient with the process and continuously work harder and harder each and every time on it, so that one time, once at a time, you'll be successful.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So that goes hand in hand because the next point I wanted to talk to you about is like consistency, because consistency is like the base. So how did you, and still you're still practicing, how are you making sure that you stay consistent? Are you allotting like specific time slots? Where are you when you are practicing your accent every day? Or because that's a very important point, and I would like to get your take on it.
Okay, so consistency is definitely the key factor because every time, when I'm in the house itself, so I talk to my parents in English. These days, I don't use my native language at all
Oh,
during these times because I use most of the time, like 14 hours a day, I speak in English.
oh, that's a lot. Yeah, that's
Yeah, 12 to 14 hours. And also, I talk to some of my well-known acquaintances. I speak to some of my friends who used to be the neighbors around my locality in my neighborhood. I talk to the shopkeepers if I have to purchase something. Then if I have to go and get any stuff, so I go to the shopkeeper and ask for the requirement in English,
oh,
and he fortunately understands it. He's these guys are really just very helpful, and to be specifically very cooperative, to allow me to understand, to let me go through the conversations in English. And and that consistency is what always ushers me to go ahead every time, like speaking. So I really say that.
yeah, that's a great practice strategy to talk to everyone in English. I agree. But what about your accent training? So you're saying you're doing this mimicking, like imitation. Are you doing
Yeah.
that at specific hours during the time? Because a lot of people they have that problem to do it every day to stay consistent. So how are you gonna make sure that you stay consistent with that? Are you doing it the same day and at the same time, or what is your take there?
Yeah, like as I mentioned, that every time I used to speak in English, so whenever I speak in English, I try to maintain that. I try to use the accent, putting on the accent, and specifically, I work for 2 hours per day. I can just say maybe from, because morning is the ideal time for me to practice. So I practice in the morning time, like maybe from 8 o'clock, from 8 9 o'clock to 10 11 o'clock. So that's the ideal time for practice because morning, I guess that I presume that morning is the best time to practice because it's the actual time when your mind and your mood, everything is in the right place. So I ideally find morning to be the right time for the consistency. I practice with the same patterns every day.
Ah.
Like I my strategies always, like it has always been the same, and every day I do with the same like methods.
Can you maybe touch up on this method? So correct the pattern that you follow, the specific pattern when you practice.
Yes, yes. So as I mentioned earlier, the articulation exercises and also practice pronunciation of each of the um, drills of the spoken sentences. So I every day I used to study from the book, mastering the American accent. So that is what, as I had mentioned before, like work on each of the vowels and consonants, and also I work on improving my placement more proficiently with the two exercises which I had shown you.
at the
So that,
beginning.
yeah. So that really helps me keep going.
Great. Yeah, we tackled a lot. So, but before we wrap it up, I would like you to maybe share, because we still have time to share, from your perspective view, what would you say is the most important takeaway when it comes to facing challenges, staying motivated and consistent? Yeah. And when it comes to accent training and improving speaking fluency in English.
Okay. So the first thing which I'd say is not to be scared. Many people get scared while like tackling with all these stuffs. So I'd say that don't be scared. Just keep calm and relax. Just don't be hesitant. Don't be shy to speak. Just just speak out whatever is coming in your mind. Just speak it out in English. So I exactly pinpoint on that. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak. Don't be hesitant or shy to speak, and don't be scared.
Yeah.
So that's what I can pinpoint to the actual question which you asked me.
Okay, and you never had problems with motivation, so you can't speak to that, or maybe your final suggestion how to stay motivated when you feel you're getting impatient and you're not getting there fast enough. Anything that comes to your mind?
So I never get impatient with the process
Great, great.
because every time I feel that by leaps and bounds I'm improving. So that's my ultimate prime motivation, which I actually uh, I think in my mind that I'm improving by leaps and bounds. So that is the actual motivation, ultimate motivation, which I can just reckon to be specific about it.
Yeah, even though it will not show up immediately, it will all add up in the background and you will get there where you want to go.
Exactly. That's what I mean to say.
Great, great conversation, Mainak. So thanks for being here again. And I hope we're going to talk in the future again, some interesting
Sure.
topics. And yeah,
Sure.
also, I'm sure our viewers learn a lot from this. And I'm also going to link your channel in the description so viewers
Okay.
can visit that. And also the book, Mastering the American Accent. Great book. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So indeed, it was a great conversation with you, Claudia. It was my pleasure to be part of this session, and I'm very much honored, and it's my privilege to get the opportunity to talk to you, and I'm really happy.
Great. Me too. Thanks, Mainak. Yeah.